Good evening, everyone. We're continuing our series, frequent question, common questions. Very interesting questions and things that comes across in our lifetime many times. And it's one of the, questions that usually people don't really know what to do. We hope to give the answer to all these common questions. The last time I gave this lecture in this series, we discussed stocks in the stock market, fake money, tip, if tip is an obligation, negotiation in business, gambling, demanding death from someone that owes you money, products made in Germany, receipts, buying from Jews or non-Jews, multi-level marketing. This is on the last lecture, so if you're interested to watch, it's online on my website, divineinformation.com. Now, we're continuing today. Mostly the topic today will be returning a lost object. If you know, in the Torah, there's an obligation when a person when he sees a lost object that someone lost, he has an obligation to return it. But there are conditions to it. We are talking if the object has some kind of a sign that it can be described. If it's something that made millions of that, like a plastic bag. The company made millions of that. Everyone knows how to describe it. That's not a sign. We're talking about something unique sign. Or even the Gemara gives an example of a challah made from a bakery in town, that they make thousands every Thursday and Friday. Anyone knows how the challahs of the bakery in town looks. Someone can lie and say, oh, I lost it, it's mine. And they ask him, describe it. And they describe the challah from the bakery because they bought it hundreds of times. However, if it's a homemade challah and it has a unique shape or size or color, then obviously if a person is able to describe it, then you have an obligation to return it to him. The question is, when a person finds an object and he does not have the owner nearby to return it to, or he doesn't know who the owner is, then what's the obligation today? If you found something, are you obligated to put signs, to put your telephone number, to go to different places, public places, and put signs? If you lost a watch or a bracelet, please call and describe it and come claim it. Is this an obligation or it's a nice thing to do? All these things we'll discuss today, Bezrat Hashem. So the first question we have to ask, the obligation from the Torah. Now the Torah warned the Jews that if they find a lost object that belongs to another Jew and they ignore it, they run into a violation of the rule. You may ask, what happened if this lost object belonged to Chris or to Ahmed, which means something with Muslims or Arabic writing on it, or something with crosses on it? You know for sure it doesn't belong to a Jew. Why not to return it to Chris? So the answer is not that you have anything against Chris or against Muhammad. The Torah say to respect the Gentiles, not to steal from them, and many other laws that shows you that the Torah count them and forbid to do anything bad to them. However, there is something in life that you have to distinguish between your brother to strangers. Not that you hate the strangers, nothing to do with hate. But if it's my brother's object, I'm going to go and waste my time and my money to return it to my brother. Why? Because this is what my father told me to do. My father loves me, he loves my brother, we both his sons. And my father told me, if your brothers ever lose something, don't ever dare to ignore it. But it's going to cost me time, it's going to cost me money. So the father said, Nachinami, even so, that's what you have to do for your own brother. However, if you find something that belongs to a stranger, right, to go to steal from the stranger, you don't have permission. But to waste your time and money and search for him, that's also not an obligation. So here we learn one major rule from the Torah. What happens if a Jew wants to waste his time and money? He's not obligated. But he wants to waste time and go and search for this Muhammad or Chris. So if he decides to do it, he's allowed. And if you will find him and give him back his object, then he will earn a mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem, sanctify the name of Hashem. Why? This guy, when he sees that the Jew went all the way out of his way to return it to him, he will be full of admiration for the rules of the Torah and automatically to Hashem that gave the Jews the Torah. The most ridiculous thing to do is to return the object when you don't have a yarmulke or no one knows you a Jew. And you just came, are you Muhammad ibn Mustafa? Yes, here, this belongs to you, the wallet. What's your name? Joey. Joey what? It didn't get to a point that he realized that you're a Jew. So what did you gain by that? Not only you did not gain Kiddush Hashem, and plus you had permission to keep it, so you lost both ways. At least if you do the right thing, do it in a way that you earn the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. You can always claim, I only did it because it's the right thing in my moral and my ethics is the right thing to do. Fine, if that's the way you want to do it, no problem. But if you could earn a huge mitzvah on the way of doing it, you can kill two birds with one stone. Why settle on one when you have two in your hand? And the second one is 1,000,000 times bigger than the first one. Do you understand? So if it's like a person come and the boss offer him two things, hourly salary, which is, I don't know, $10 an hour, and a bonus. What's the bonus? 1 month paid salary. So he said, no, just give me the hour. For the same transaction, no extra effort, just give me the hour. Everyone would say, what a fool. He can earn for the same exact thing that he just did an extra month of paycheck, doing nothing. But ignorance, always painful. When a person is not knowledgeable, he doesn't learn, he makes mistakes. Mistakes cost. So that's the overall rule. Now, we have an obligation to return a lost object knowing that the owner will not look for it anymore? Money. The owner gave up already. He doesn't look for it. The answer is, if we know for sure the person gave up on it, like we heard from a witness that he said, anyway, I didn't like it so much, so I bought a new one already, no big deal. Or you know what, or I hope a tzaddik Jew found it at least, that he can enjoy it. This is all sentences that shows that he gave up. It's called Yeush, giving up. If there is a clear evidence, then when you found it, you can keep it. However, if you don't have a clear evidence, you must still try to return it. What happened if you found something on the beach under the sand, some kind of a gold bracelet, and it's there already for years? Who knows how many years it's there under? You went, you know those people who go with metal detector, and you found a Star David a chain, and it's really all the way deep. It could be 10 years there, or even 50 years there. You don't really know. What happened now? It has signs in it. The answer, you take it. Why? First of all, it's a place, public place. You know, in Israel, it's mostly Jews. Over here, it's mostly Goyim, the beach. Once the place is mostly Goyim, you take it. Once the place is mostly Jews, Jews have an obligation to return it from the Torah. They're afraid of Hashem. If they see something that belongs to another Jew, they'll go out of their way to try to locate him. That's why the owner doesn't give up. If he lost something in Monsey or in Williamsburg or in Borough Park or in other very religious neighborhood that 9 out of 10 people are religious Jews, he always have hopes to find back his wallet or to find back his bracelet. Why? Because he knows that the people of the place, they're supposed to follow the rules of the Torah, therefore he doesn't give hope. However, if he lost it in Harlem, and the people over there never heard of the laws of the Torah, or heard and forgot very quickly, so over there, what kind of hope he has that someone will return his wallet full of cash? Even though it's always possible, but it's 5% chance. Therefore, on a 5% chance, he automatically in his subconscious gave up the money. he already adjusts himself to the new situation mentally. That's called Yeush. Once a person automatically mentally gave up, a person who took it actually won it. So it's a little bit complicated because not always you know. Some places you're not sure if it's majority Jews or not, like 47th Street. Majority of Manhattan is Goyim. But there are particular streets that there is very high chance that it's mostly Jews in that street, like 47th Street. Almost all the owners there are Jews, and most of them are religious Jews. Lots of Hasidish, lots of all kinds of Sephardi, Bukharians, Persians, a lot of people who are Shomer Shabbat over there. Even though Manhattan as a place, it's mostly Goyim. But that particular street, do we count it as Manhattan or we count it as Jewish town? From here to here, from 5th to 6th. This particular block has the same rule like overall Manhattan, or no, that's a different specific territory. There's a lot of doubts over here, which hopefully I'll be able to answer today or the next time. So now,
does time play a factor in this? If somebody lost a...
Yeah, we'll speak about up to where the obligation goes. It's a part of the lecture today. Now, the fact that the people do not look for the object is not an indication they gave up. Just because they're very busy or they work for their boss or their boss doesn't give them time off, they're constantly thinking about what they lost, but they don't have time to look for it. Or they're very lazy. They think about it all the time, but they're lazy just that they're lazy in any other thing. It doesn't mean they gave up. They sit home depressed thinking about it from morning to night, right? So the fact that they're not looking for it's not an indication they gave up. Also, sometimes they don't know where to start looking for. The town is very big. They're not sure where they left it. They've been in 50 different places. Well, what's the point? Plus, they already know if it's a Jewish town and one of the religious people found it, he didn't keep it there because he has an obligation to pick it up and announce. So instead of looking for the object, I might as well look for signs in town, in the synagogues, in a supermarket, in a doctor's office, in places that almost everyone eventually would visit, or in a newspaper. You know, one time I found something, and then a few weeks later I found an ad in a community connection that someone lost it. He put an ad, I lost an object, and he wrote over there in the ad the signs for the object. There was this watch, this made, this color, He gave all the things. Why? Because he knew that the person that found it will not waste time and will call him right away. But it's still not enough, because if he describe it, it still doesn't mean he's the original owner. Why? It could be Reuven and Shimon, two very good friends, and Shimon knows the watch of Reuven. Reuven knows the watch of Shimon, and he always saw it, so he knows it. Now, one time Shimon told him, "I lost my watch." The next thing he put an ad, knowing the watch worth $10,000, and he give all the signs of the watch, and then someone calls him and get fooled by him. So obviously, you still have to find things that he did not describe, meaning he didn't pay attention to it, and see if he knows that or not. If there is a doubt, you don't have an obligation to give it to him. Better it stays by you until Eliyahu Hanavi comes than to give it to someone you don't know if he will return it or not, or he steals it himself. So now, do we have an obligation to return a lost object knowing it's insured? It's insured. Somebody that we know, she has a diamond ring, worth $20-something thousand. She insured it with all her jewelry. She went to a wedding, she wanted to wash her hands, she took it off, she left it over there, she washed her hands. You came after that, you found a $20,000 diamond. You can take it now, knowing she won't lose. She will call the insurance will pay her. So as far as worry about your brother not to lose money, you don't have that problem, right? And that's why they pay insurance, if one day they lose it. Now, she got lucky that you found it. Somebody else would find it, put it in his pocket, and disappear. So the fact that they'll get reimbursed from the insurance, that this release us from the obligation to give it back or to pay when it comes to damages, Is that the rule or not? The answer, we still have a full obligation from the Torah to return it. What they have with their insurance, it's a side contract between them. He pays and they give him back. That's nothing to do with me. I found something belongs to a Jew, I must return it. How long do I have to wait once I put signs in public areas for the person to contact me? Is it a week? Is it a month? Is it a year? Is it forever? How long do I have to wait? The question is, what do you care to wait? What, you carry it on your back? Put it in your closet, so what's the big deal? The answer is, that wasn't the question. The question is, how long do I have to make sure the flyers that I hang will stay there? Because sometimes they clean it, they take it off. Do I have an obligation to put it again and again, every 3-4 days when I take it off, I have to put it again or in different places? Or once I did my shtadlut, finished, from the Torah, I'm dismissed already. Or I still have to keep searching and putting flyer until one day I'll find a person. What do you think is the obligation? The answer is a normal amount of time. What's a normal amount of time in our day? If it's in a supermarket, an average person visits in a supermarket at least twice a month, which makes it every 2 weeks maximum, right? Some people go every day. Depends how hungry their children are and how much desires they have. But some people, you know, they eat very, very little. They buy 1 pear, 5 grapes, quarter of a watermelon. Everything by them is calculated, so they come. You know, they come more often to the supermarket. One way or the other, if you put it in 2 weeks is in a supermarket and nobody came, the salvation will not come from that store. If you put it by the doctor's office, maybe the person is healthy for the next 5 years. Go to the doctor. That's not an indication. Over there it should stay forever. But you put it in places that you know, like in a bus stop or in a shul, if it's something that belongs to a man, and there is 5 shuls in the area. We're not talking Brooklyn. You have to hang in each shul. You'll be 7 years old by then. You know, Baruch Hashem, Ken Yirbu. We're talking, you know, you have 4 or 5 synagogues. You put 1 in each, and you wait 3-4 days. Why? Maybe this person is sick today, did not go to Minyan. Maybe he doesn't go to shul all week, only on Shabbat. 1 Shabbat pass, and still nobody contacted you by Sunday night. That's it. You have to use common sense here. There's no black and white rules here. It's common sense. I basically did what I want. Hashem knows I really want to return it. I'm not playing games, putting signs and sitting and reading Tehillim that the owner will never show up. When you read Tehillim, pray to Hashem that the owner will show up, that you have the mitzvah of Hashavat Avedah. Am I allowed to give the lost object to the police lost and found department, or the security in the mall, or the security in the airport? If you found it in places that they have a lost and found place, can you give it to them? Or most likely they put it in their pocket? What do you think?
They put it in security.
So over here, the answer is most likely they will return it back. There is a higher chance they'll return it than steal it. Therefore, you're allowed to give it to them. I say he has no idea what he's talking about. I'm not telling you the name of the writer of the book, therefore it's no Lashon Hara. But I'm telling you he detached from reality. If it's something that worth a lot, such as diamond ring or a good expensive watch, before you left the office, it's already in the pocket of the person over there. If it's a garbage rip suitcase, it will go back to the owner. Probably. They're tired. They already found thousands of suitcases over there. Their houses is full up to here. They don't have what to do with that. I remember one time I flew with Delta. So when I arrived to LA, my suitcase was all ripped. Now all the CDs. Now how are you going to pick up the suitcase? Because it has a big cut over it. Everything will fall off. I'm going to carry the CDs, the suitcase like that. So I came to the guy over there in the counter. I told him, look what happened. In my mind, I'm thinking if he will give me a thick tape, I will just put over it until I get back. I had no idea to ask for a new suitcase. So he told me, come with me. He took me in LA. He have 2 big closets over there, 2 big doors. He opened it, 50 suitcases. He said, pick one up. I got a 10 times better suitcase than the lousy one I had. This is life. Just when you begin to cry about something that supposedly is bad, think again. It could be the best thing happened to you. So I got a nice suitcase. Until today I have it. You know, mine was anyway 90% about to retire to Olam Haba, you know.
So that's not considered stealing?
No, that's not stealing. It's people who lost suitcases and never came to claim it. You understand? So after a while, obviously, if they wanted to claim it, they had a week or 2 after the flight to contact the airline and say, or the airport, and nobody cared. I guess, you know, suitcases in America, you don't need a mortgage for that. It's not Israel here. Everything you want to buy, you need a mortgage. It's a different thing, you know. Over here, you come to Walmart, you pay $80, you have air condition. In Israel, you have to save 12 months. Maybe you can afford a window air condition. Everything over there is double and triple. Why? You have to pay for the missiles. You have to pay for the army. The Hamas doesn't give a rest. You know, now the last 4 or 5 days, they're searching for the boys. You know how many hundreds of millions of dollars already got wasted? Nobody thinks about the money because life is above money. Well, what about now 50,000 soldiers and reserves that were called, and they're searching from house to house, and it's gas and cars, and they got all the experts and the detectives, and they hire private people and equipment and arresting people and feeding them in jail. It's costing fortune. Somebody has to pay for it. That's why when you want to come and buy a $70 air condition that in Walmart is $70, in Israel will be $350. Why is it? Somebody has to pay for the missiles. Why we need missiles? Because the Hamas attacking us. Why the Hamas attacking us? Because 75% of us don't keep Shabbat and don't care about Hashem. And the Torah says, if you don't care about the covenant you made with me, you'll pay a very heavy price. And there's a list of things that the Torah says in Parashat Bechukotai. And which one is the punishment and the payment that repeats the most? That the Arabs will never leave us alone. Clearly it says, the enemies that live among you will go higher and higher, and you go lower and lower. Your country will shrink, they'll take it over, and you live with fear, constant fear from them. If he did not speak about the Palestinians, who else exactly did he speak about? Because the Jews didn't live with the Goyim inside of them. The Jews either control Israel or they were in exile. Once they came back to Israel after 2,000 years, all the problems come from who? From Ishmael. And the parasha already spoke about it. It gives you a clear prophecy what's going to be. And that's exactly what happened. So if people would change their habits and their behaving, then we could save billions of dollars every year that we need to spend on security. You understand? One, it's a chain reaction. If people would do tshuva, if the Jews would invest the $10 billion a year that goes to the army just because of the Hamas alone, $10 billion a year goes minimum without even hesitating. I'm giving you this figure. $10 billion goes a year to try to protect us from their attacks. If you put $10 billion in Kiruv, at least 3-4 million Jews in 1 year will be Shomrei Shabbat. Same amount of money. You save almost everyone. You put the right Kiruv, the right DVDs, the right CDs, the right flyers, the right books. You even pay people to come to seminar. You don't have to pay for the hotel. We will pay for you. Come to the Hilton. We'll give you fancy meals. We'll give you a fancy room. We'll give you this. We'll pick you up. We'll arrange anything for you. Just come. See 2-3 days and listen to lectures. If you do it with this kind of money, it would be enough to invite the entire nation of Israel. Just the annual budget for the security, right? If everyone would come 3 days in hotel and watch the best lectures with proofs, with presentation, half of them will become religious. Statistically, it's very simple. They'll be shocked. If half of the Jews will become Shomrei Shabbat in Israel, another 3 million, the problem will be gone. So simple. I know it's complicated, but at the same time, it's very simple. I don't know, maybe I'm dreaming. Let's move on. So it says like this. My answer to this question is, if it's something simple, ordinary, that hundreds of them are lost over there in lost and found, such as pens, cheap pens, pads, notebooks, books, it's no big deal. No one has a big desire to steal those things. So most likely they return it. After all, they have to return something. They can't steal everything. Then you can leave it. Then you can leave it over there. But if it's something extra valuable, you cannot rely on the goodness of the tellers over there. You have to watch it, and you get your call, and you say, I found something. And if you send an email to all the people that went on that flight, or whatever the case is, and tell them that they can find that laptop, or whatever it was, or the bracelet, by this telephone number. That's it. The rest is not in your hand. Now, the owner of the lost object, after you found out who he is, you found his identity, do you have an obligation to travel to him? Or all you have to do is to contact him by letter, email, or telephone, and he has the obligation to come to you to pick it up. Since you already started with the mitzvah, you have an obligation to finish it. If he tells you, please, I'm very busy, I'm a very big lawyer, every hour of mine is $2,000, you're only a taxi driver, you make $15 an hour. Come to me, I'll pay you for the $15, don't worry. I even give you $10 to buy pizza. Come, bring it to me. Why you want to waste my 3 hours now of work until I get you this whole thing worth $100? It doesn't pay. Do you have an obligation to do it, even though it makes sense what he say, or no? No. Or it's his problem. Send somebody else, hire a driver, send him to me. What do I care? I'm not your servant. I'm honest enough to return it to you. Now it's your obligation to pick it up, or no? Once the Torah told you, once you picked it up, you are a keeper, and a keeper must deliver. It's not so simple. What do you think the Torah meant? The Torah said, do not ignore the lost object of your brother. What does it mean, do not ignore? Do not ignore means just inform him where it is, and that's enough, or full delivery?
No, I think it's enough just to sign up and keep
the Chazon Ish and Rav Moshe Feinstein answer, all you have an obligation to do is to inform him. After that, you don't have to waste time and money. But if there's no way to inform him, like in the old days, no telephone, no email, no nothing, and somebody to recognize the object and say, you know who it belongs to? To this guy that lives on that street over there. Now you have no way to inform him. Today, Baruch Hashem, you click on a button and you can inform him. But 100 years ago, what did you have? You have an obligation to deliver. So here is the answer to the people who hate technology. Sometimes it saves a lot of time. Imagine now schlepping around, looking for him. Yeah, you click a button and he finds it and he comes and takes it. Mikvehs in synagogue, do they have permission to do what they do? They put a sign. If anyone left his hat there or coat or anything, an umbrella outside or anything like that, if he doesn't come to take it back within 30 days, it becomes hefker. The Gabayim can take it, they can do whatever they want with that. Do they have permission or they have an obligation to keep it? They have to set a corner. That's where the lost and found object, everyone who comes and give a sign or whatever.
All they have to do is put a sign.
No, but you know, today you go to some mikvehs and they say if you left here anything, after 30 days, the Gabayim has permission to do whatever they want with what they find. 30 days they keep it. After that, either it goes to the garbage or goes to their stomach. One of the two.
Some signs say that Moshe said that it's okay.
The answer is they allowed, and they don't have to be afraid that the owner of this object never saw the sign, because there's always a possibility that this person never saw that sign in a shul or in a mikveh. Therefore, he's not so careful to forget things there, knowing eventually I'll get back there. Worst comes to worst, I'll pick it up next time. He didn't pay attention to the sign. Not everyone read signs everywhere you go, you know? So do they have to be afraid maybe this owner never saw it, and then what is the sign doing? Now he comes and he has an aggravation to look for it. The answer is, since there is a high percentage of a chance that the person would read the sign, because they put few signs everywhere, in a door or in places that people leave their stuff, then they have to assume chazakah, the certainty that the person look at the sign and he still did not come to collect it. That means it's not important to him, right? Why? It's if he's out of town, if he's an Israeli citizen that visit New York for a few days and he went back and it's very hard for him to come just for a $50 coat, they don't have to be worried about it. You lost it, you lost it. You could also lose it in the street and somebody takes it. What about hanging signs on private property, on glass of stores from the outside, on telephone booths that belongs to private companies, on hotel side of the building, hotels, or in any kind of building that's owned by someone, even if it looks like broken and neglected, no one is there, but it belongs to someone. Or if it's a vacant lot and you want to stick a big pole over there because nobody comes there anyways, only trees. So right by the road you want to put a big sign. Garage sale, Sunday between 9 and 12. But it's his property. Do you violate a rule from the Torah or from Rabbanan, or it's no problem at all?
You violate the rule. Rabbanan?
The answer is, the rule in general is you're not allowed to do to people what you don't want them to do to you. You don't want to install telephone booths and everyone comes and put his lousy stickers on that. You don't want people to do it to you. Why you do it to others? And even if you don't mind that people would do it to you, you're still not allowed to do it to others. Why? That doesn't mean everyone is nice and generous like you. Most people are makpid, very, very precise. I always say, a large portion of people, even people who keep Torah and mitzvot, they have in this generation, maybe always they had. I don't know, I live in this generation. I don't know exactly what happened 50 years ago. But they have a mental disease. This mental disease called, in Hebrew, I hope it's the word came from English, it's the extra pedantic. There's a word like this in English, pedant? I bet you there is, but you never went to college, so you don't know. There is a word. It doesn't look like an Israeli word or an Hebrew word. Pedant. German? It's a German? Comes from Yiddish? Pedant? Huh?
I'm English and I've never heard it.
I'm English and I have heard of it.
You're an Englishman from New York. It's different.
I'm a very
English London.
It's definitely a word pedantic.
What's the word? Pedantic.
What? Say it again?
From England.
I'm from London, England. It's pedantic. Oxford University.
Pedantic. Wow, Baruch Hashem. What? All the people came from London to Brooklyn now? The people of Brooklyn went on vacation, so they needed to import some Jews for the lecture. They sent from London. So anyway, pedantic, I had a feeling it comes from English.
It does.
Pedantic means a person that if he puts his slippers in a closet and one of them is crooked, he cannot sleep at night. One day when I went to live in a place, I put the, how do you call this, the things that the kids play with, you know, what do you call that unit, the wood unit that the kids goes over it with a ladder and no, swings, the swing set. So I had a swing set, but you know, the swing set, all of it was on my property, but it had one arm, like a supporter, that it won't flip over, so they needed to stretch it a little bit, like, I don't know, 5-6 feet, and then that it's a support, that it will never flip over, right? If the kids go and wide a little bit. So there is a support. The wider it is, the more stable it is. So the leg of the support which is about 2 inches, was touching the property of the neighbor. You should see the hate the neighbor had to me that it was touching their backyard, even though they never step in that area. Never in their life I saw them there. Never. It was stepping on there by maybe 3 inches. He went to their property, like this. No, very Orthodox Jew. Should see how the wife would come and measure, brings her tape. Hey, Mr. Mizrachi, you know, it's touching our property. I say, is it really critical? Does it bother you so much? No problem. It's hard to pick it up. You need 6 guys to move it. Wait maybe until I have a bunch of young guests, and we'll move it. We didn't measure the line of the property exactly by inches here. Every day she would come. Every day. What is it? For sure mental disease. No problem. Mental disease. Sometimes person come, 1 chair is moved from his place. You should see how he gets angry. One time I went to pray mincha. I don't want to say what kind of shul it was. In Hebrew they say amevin yavin. I went over there. There was 9 people and I was the 10th one. But of course, when I walked to the shul from the car, I do not know what's the situation in the shul, right? So I didn't know I have to run. I know the time, so I'm about 20 seconds late. 20 seconds! So if the person started Ashrei Yoshvei Betecha, I still make it with him on time. So I walk, 1 person over there. Like this. I say, well, I'm looking, I still don't understand. He comes to me, you're late. We're waiting. I said, but how long I'm late? 20 seconds? Mental disease. Someone like that would buy a $100,000 wall unit, and there will be a little scratch that you need a major magnifying glass to see it. They'll sue the company. Come, send a person to evaluate the damage. This is a serious mental disease. No question about this.
Isn't that a characteristic of a yaka?
Ah, that's why I said before, I'm evin yavin, but you're not supposed to scream it loud.
I'm talking about the goy.
Yeah. It's a problem. Of course, it's good to be on time. Of course, it's good to be a perfectionist, to make things as perfect as possible. But it's very dangerous to let it take over your life and make you such fanatic person that everyone around you is shaking. What's going to be your next move, you know? By the way, this is a very, very promising way to destroy the life of the children. If one of the parents is like this, the children will be machines. Machines. They will behave, everything is fine. But they're not doing it because it's the right thing to do and because they want to do it. They just do it because they're robots. Hashem is not interested in robots. Hashem wants people to be educated. In a circus, you have robots. They program the animals to do what they want. By giving them food, by giving them punishment, by torturing them, whatever they use. So they know, every time I'll do what my trainer wants, it's going to be a big salmon fish right into my stomach. And every time I don't, he will burn me with electric all night. So what do you think the animal will do? After 2-3 times, he got the point. Now, when the animal let the trainer do whatever they want, does it mean the animal enjoy it, the animal doing it because it's the right thing to do, or because the animal is afraid of the electric shots? That's all. That's not a way to train people. That's not a way to teach them manners or to make them better people. That's forcing a situation on a person. It's like making him basically a robot. The problem with these robots, and as long as the system works and they're under the supervision of this commander, it works. One day they break completely. Either they break mentally and they're like dead case, or that they rebel against anything. That's it. They go from one side to the opposite side completely. Now, finding an object by a kid. A kid. Who has the obligation to return the object? The kid. His father, no one. The father can say, what do you want from me? I'm not the one who passed in the street and found it. And he said, okay, but your son is. So what do you want from me? He's not bar mitzvah. Go talk to him. So he said, no, you his father, and you're in charge to educate him. Therefore, his education is on you. Therefore, you have to return it. Why? Because the same way if the kid found a lost object that you can keep, it comes to you, not to the kid. Whatever the kid found belongs to his father. So the answer is, this is, by the way, the law that was made by Chazal. Really, from the Torah, the kid owns it. If the kid found a diamond, it belongs to him. But the Chachamim made a decree. Just like they made a decree that a woman that goes to work, whatever she makes, go to her husband. Why? Because they wanted to make peace in a family. How do you make a peace? The Torah forced the husband to pay the wife for clothing, for a place to sleep, for food, and to be a husband. There's an obligation from the Torah. Since she already gets her support from her husband, it won't be fair that she also keep her salary for herself. But you cannot live by someone's as a roommate and he feed you and take care of all your needs, at the same time you don't want to pay for what you make. It doesn't make sense. It's a matter of a month until it's going to be a war there. So therefore they say, whatever you earn will go to the help of the husband to support the family. Same thing with the kids. Since from the Torah you only have an obligation up to 6 years old to support the kids. Even though today 6 years old, it's little, babies. What do you expect from them to do on their own? But in 2,000 years ago, a 6 years old was a real man. Was able to work, able to run to the market, to sell, to buy, to import, to export. Whatever you want, they could do. 6 years old in the time of Chizkiyahu, the king knew all the Torah already. 6 years old. They know all the Torah. Show me one kid in the world, 6 years old, that know 10 Mishnayot by heart. It's already hard.
Was 17 years old when he wrote the
Yeah, exactly. 17 years old. Don't get me wrong, there's still young kids that are brilliant, but overall, in percentage, there's nothing to compare. Plus, it's not only about wisdom, by the way. We're talking about maturity. That's really the main thing over here. The way we raise people in our civilization today, it's very spoiled, and the kids grow up with full support. They don't have the urge to run and take care of their own, knowing someone will do it for me forever. Even when I'll be 50, my mother will still buy me a pacifier and take me in a crib. Come, Moishi, come. Abba, business is not good. Send a check. American way. Abba, I'm going to Israel. Make sure the checks come on time. The father thinks he's sitting in yeshiva, Steigen, he's in Elat, going there, going here, going to the pubs in Ben Yehuda, in Yerushalayim, sitting, drinking beer. I don't want to tell you what else he does over there. The parents naive. They mean well. They want to help, and they don't know what is done with their money, unfortunately. More and more stories I hear. More and more. Not that everyone is like this, God forbid. Many great kids who does what needs to be done. Overall, we are highlighting the word maturity here. 6 years old of today, it's not 6 years old of 2,000 years ago. Not even of 100 years ago. 100 years ago, if a kid was not a star in learning, 6 years old, went to work with the father in a field, taking care of the donkeys, milking the cows and the sheep. 6 years old, full-time employee with a pension plan. That's what it was. They say about the Rambam, right? The Rambam, his father wanted to throw him out of school to go to work. And he went to the Sefer Torah, he opened up the ark, all night he was hugging the Sefer Torah, cry all night until he fell asleep on the Sefer Torah. The morning, the Gabbai of the shul, which was a Talmid Chacham, he came, saw a little boy hugging the Torah and fell right inside. Little boy, 6 years old. What happened to you, son? Told him, my father wants to take me out of yeshiva and put me to work because I'm not doing so well in learning. So he gave him such a blessing. He says, someone like you, maybe it was the rabbi of the shul, somebody like you that cry because he doesn't know enough Torah, for sure will be somebody big. And he became the biggest. No wonder. Now, so since the Chachamim made a decree, takana, that whatever the kids find belongs to their parents, it works both ways. Which means if they found a lost object, the responsibility also falls on the parent. Right? If you can keep the lost object, if the kid found it, it's yours, you keep it. If you cannot keep it, the responsibility has to go, and the father has to put the signs and to announce. Someone that is in the middle of returning a lost object, is he dismissed from keeping other mitzvot based on the rule, העוסק במצווה פטור מן המצווה, or no? We have a rule. Someone that is busy with mitzvah is dismissed from another mitzvah that came at the same time. What are we talking about? In a way that both of them cannot be done. If there's a way to do both of them, it's needless to say you're obligated to do both of them. If one comes on the expense of the other, then whatever you started with, that's what you focus on. And the new one, you are forced not to keep it, no problem. But if it's mitzvah overet, if it's a mitzvah that the time expires soon, such as Kriyat Shema, in 20 minutes will be over the time, and you can pause the mitzvah that you're in the middle of it right now for a minute or 2 or 5, do the mitzvah that is about to expire, and return back to your mitzvah, you are obligated. What if it's a public mitzvah? Someone is sick, so they're looking for people to go cheer him up. If you're sitting and learning Torah, you only have an obligation to do it if there's no one else to do it. But if people who do not sit and learn, they go anyway to visit, then it's mitzvah שתעשה על ידי אחרים, or such as burying a body of a person, making him a funeral. If there are enough people to do it, you don't have to close the Torah and go. You focus on what you did. But if there's not enough people, they need you, then you have to close, because the Torah, after all, was given for us to learn how to keep the mitzvot. We cannot say all the time, no, I only want to learn, I don't want to do. What's the point of learning, and never do what you learn? So from time to time, you have to also show that you're interested to do mitzvot, not only to learn all the time, even though it's very tempting, but you still have to know that the obligation is when there's no one else to do it. Now, I'll give you an example. The Shulchan Aruch says, Chatan patur mikriyat shema. Chatan, groom, is dismissed from reading Shema Israel in the night of his wedding. Why? They start the wedding and the chuppah preparation before sunset, which is not the time for Kriyat Shema. And then right after that, the chuppah. And right after that, the party and the Sheva Brachot and the meal. It's on one long mitzvah. And then they have to go home. So fine, he got home 12 o'clock at night. He still have until 1 in the summer. Still 1 hour. Why not to say Shema now? He doesn't have to do at all. Why is it? Because he's nervous. Why is nervous? He's going to be with his wife for the first time in his life. He's very nervous. So it's make a person very nervous. The question is, does it apply today? If there's a person is a Baal Tshuva who made all the sins you can imagine in his life, he's far away from being nervous. You know? Unfortunately, he has experience in the wrong things. Somebody like that is dismissed from Kriyat Shema? The answer, of course not. Well, it's not what's the problem standing 2 minutes, say Shema Israel, even in the middle of his wedding, when everyone is stressing, be on the side, say Shema Israel, what's the problem? But 500 years ago, nobody ever touched a woman until the night of the wedding. No woman allowed a man to touch her finger and even to look at her in those days. No one ever spoke to each other. There was no friends on Facebook. There was no YouTubes. There was no people walking in the street like animals. Those days are only now. But 500 years ago, when the Shulchan Aruch was written, it was different lifestyle. Even the goyim were covered from head to toe. So, and therefore, when a person gets married, he's so nervous in a mitzvah that maybe it won't work out for him. So obviously, he cannot focus on the intention that you need for Kriyat Shema. Today, there is 2 reasons why you're obligated. 2. One is, anyway, no one has intention when they pray. It's not a joke. That's a real halacha. In the old days, when a person started Tfilat Shmona Esrei, and he came, Baruch Atah Hashem Ha'el HaKadosh, and now he realized he did not have enough kavanah, he did not have intention enough. So what's the Torah say? What's the halacha say? You have to start from the beginning. Today, you don't have to start from the beginning. Why? 90% chance you won't have a mind, and again, even 15 times. Why? First time you thought about your mother who got you angry. Second time about your wife who got you angry. Third time is about the kids, they're late. Fourth time, business is bad. Fifth time, your enemy passed by. 3 days, you're on fire. There's always something. Also, there's another problem. The level of the people is very low, especially those who are Baalei Tshuva, who used to use drugs, and the drugs messed up their mind. Even if they want to think and focus about something, more than 10 seconds, they can't. Because there are cells in the brain that are burned out. What is it like? You know, like in a computer, they have the fragment, that every once in a while you have to defrag the computer, and you see all the red like cancer, slowly disappeared, and all the things comes together, and you get like, but a person like this have empty spots, like black holes. And when he begins to think about something in Gemara, 10, 15, 20 seconds, his grandma came to him now. Oh, he forgot what he's talking about. When he comes back from his dream, Rabbi, where are we? What do you mean? We just finished mincha. They have a question, someone who takes drugs, what mitzvah he has to say? The answer is Birkat HaDerech, the prayer of the road. He's about to fly somewhere now. Of course, it's a joke. The fact that someone here thought maybe I'm serious just show you where we live. The temperature goes high now.
What do you say about people who are addicted to drugs?
People who are addicted to drugs, they must go to a professional rehab. They must go. Why? Most people are weak character. They won't get out of it on their own. They get a professional help, and they have to check the rehab, what kind of statistic they have. Some rehabs are good, some are not so good. If you just go because it's cheap, but it has 5% success rate, you're there 6 months, and chas v'shalom, you come out with the same problem, what's the point? Sometimes it's better to pay high and do it almost for sure to come out of it, 80, 90% chance, than to go to something cheap and not so good, and then in the end, after 6 months wasting your life, you're back to square one. The best thing is never to dare to touch these things. Not cigarettes, not drugs, not chemical, nothing, none of these things. Person should always be focused. No alcohol, no cigarettes, no drugs, no losing control of his life, no gambling. All these addictive things, a person must know. If I start, I'm dead. That's the way the mind has to be. And that's the way to teach the kids when they're young. Constantly to brainwash them. Be careful, to show them horror movies about people who are addicted to heroin, how they are in the street, how they're begging for money and they freeze in the winter. To make the children so afraid of this that if one day somebody offers them, they run like they saw the devil. It works, 100%. They come to this conclusion now on commercials in Israel, on television. All the liberal, soft character people, they never wanted to scare people on public television. Why? Don't be fanatic. Don't be scary. Now they made a commercial of someone who texts and drives. What a horrible tragedy it caused. They made it so real. I promise you, someone who watches it will think 1,000,000 times before he touches the phone when he drives. Why they did it such a way? Why you have to see a person blow to pieces, his brain is on the floor? Why? Because this is the way people understand. What can you do? When they see the end of their actions, they think 1,000,000 times before. When they don't understand it in their mind what it can lead to, when you wake up, it may be too late. Okay, so let's move on. So now it says, someone who found a lost object that is allowed to keep. Doesn't have a sign. It's in a place that it's no Jews at all there. So he knows he can keep it from the Torah. Does he make bracha she'echeyanu? She'echeyanu. Found a wallet full of $5,000 cash. Should he make she'echeyanu? Found a bag with $300 brand new shoes. Or a nice suit on a hanger, beautiful with the tag on it. Found that someone left it, I don't know, in a park on a bench. Looks around, no one is there. Excuse me, anyone? No one is here. Night already. He takes it. It's his. Does he make she'echeyanu like he bought it? When you buy a suit, if it makes you happy, you make she'echeyanu. What happened if you found it? Needless to say. If when you pay that you eat your heart for the money you burn, you still make she'echeyanu, and it came as a bargain, of course you make she'echeyanu. No? If it was possible to say twice, you do twice. Yeah, but that somebody, the Torah did not obligate you to worry about them right now. That's the whole point. You're right. And plus, life is full of losses and gains. That's it. Whenever one person gained, somebody lost that second. Always. The store gained, you lost. You gained, the store lost. Right or wrong? So now every good transaction, it's bad for someone. The farmer is counting all week. When is the rain gonna come? Shir LaMa'alot, where is the rain? Hashem, Esai Na'arim, hurry up. Millions of tomatoes here, they're about to die. All of a sudden, flood. The owners of the car wash open the Tehillim, Shir LaMa'alot, take the rain, you're killing business. Or at least turn it into snow. It makes white spots on a car. It's good for business.
But didn't you say that when Abraham bought the place to bury Sarah, they both gained, the buyer and the seller?
In this case, Abraham bought the Me'arat HaMachpelah. Yeah, he gained. But he lost money.
But the seller also gained because...
Paid a king's ransom.
He paid a lot of money for it. He didn't get it for free. He ripped him on a price.
But he gained more than he lost.
Everything you buy, you gain. You buy a suit, you give money, you gain for the suit. But what I'm saying to you is that many times that the person loses, somebody else enjoy from what he lost. That's it. That's the way it is. By the way, if a person lost $100 and he begins to pray, Hashem, I hope that this $100 will come to a Jew who learns Torah. And he did go to a Jew who learned Torah. Jew that learned Torah found it on the street. Does it count tzedakah for the person or no? Yes. That person doesn't give tzedakah. Now when he lost it, he became generous. What a nice guy. If I already lost it, instead of going to a drug dealer who make millions anyway, make it go to a poor yeshiva bachur that can learn more Torah thanks to my lost $100 bill. Does it count tzedakah? Yes. Believe it or not, yes. But in a very low level, but yes. Because in the end, what came out of your money, something good in the world? Baruch Hashem. I never understood this halacha, but I have to share it with you. I think the logic here is that if a person was there to see that this yeshiva bachur got it and used it, it would make him very happy.
And if Goy found it?
If a Goy found it,
so
let's hopefully he won't use it for JC's statue, to put flowers on JC's head. No, it doesn't count tzedakah. No. If Arab found it, he just bought 20 more bullets for Jewish children. Somebody from the Hamas. How can it be tzedakah? If Chris found it and Chris goes to the church, what did he do with that? He said, God sent me $100. He thinks he's God, you know. So he said, let me do something for my God. So he bought him a watch to put on his statue there. You know the story of one Jew that one time could not have parnasa. He went to shul, he prayed, no parnasa comes. So he said, you know what, I tried everything. Let me go to the church, ask from JC something. So he went over there, he comes inside, it's quiet. No one is there, it wasn't Sunday. So he comes inside, excuse me, anyone here? Excuse me, nobody's there, silent, but the door was open. Then you see JC like this, with a statue on a stage, like this, staring at him. So he said, what am I going to do now? No one here, they have a fund here, no one here, and even if they be here, who's to say they give me, they see me with the yarmulke, I'm a Jew, maybe they won't want to give it to me. Then he looks at the chandelier, and you see the chandelier has 12 pieces of pure gold, that you can pick it up. So wow, each piece of gold, I can live a month, my whole family. And it was right before Passover, Pesach. So he right away got a ladder, he climbed there, he picked up one of the pieces, right away puts it in his jacket and ran out. The next day they came, they found out one piece is missing. They went crazy. The priest called the king, it was the main church over there. He called the king, and they say, send a letter to the Jewish community. They have 24 hours to return the gold. Christian won't dare to steal from the church. It has to be a Jew. So make sure they return it. If they don't return it, we send all of them to exile and take all their property. The Jews got the letter. Everyone started to cry. The rabbi doesn't know. The rabbi said, anyone who took it, please return it. We're begging you. If you need money, come to us. We'll give you. So one person got up and said, but why didn't you give until now? I took it. What's the problem? He said, Baruch Hashem, you confess. Bring it back. Let's give it. Say, Rabbi, relax. Let me handle it. I'm on my way right now to the church. Say, no, it's dangerous. They're very angry. Rabbi, I promise you, you'll see how I'm going there and I'm taking care of business, and all this letter that you got will be dismissed in an hour. Rabbi is saying, why this guy have this confidence from? The guy goes there on Sunday. The church is packed. He comes inside. Father, ¿cómo está? Very good. Okay, I'm here. Okay, I'm here. Father, you looking for that piece? Yes, I have it. What do you mean you have it? Yeah, I took it. Return it. Return it, son. He said, I'm very sorry. I sold it and bought stuff for Passover. He said, I'm going to send now people to check in your house. And go ahead, check. It's not my house. What do you think I had the whole 8 days of Passover? Food, matzah, wine. I sold that piece and still have some money left. Right away, they called the king. Everybody grabbing him. He said, well, how did you dare to come to the house of God and steal it? He said, I never stole it. Why are you blaming me? I'm innocent. Do you think if I stole it, I would come here like this? So what do you mean you're innocent? It's missing without permission. He said, no, I got permission. I came here. I said, anyone here? Anyone here? Nobody answered. Then I said, well, God, you have to help me. Tomorrow it's Passover. I don't have food for my children. Then JC looked at me and said, son, come up here. I'll help you. So I went up to the stage, and he told me, what do you need? How much you need? I said, I need at least $3,000-$4,000 for the 8 day, for the Yom Tov and the second Yom Tov. He said, no problem, son. Go up there to the chandelier. Who needs the chandelier here? Take one piece of gold. That will cover all your expenses for the holiday. I kissed his hand. He gave me a blessing. I went up there, and I took it. You're so generous. Now the king and the priest look at each other. They say, hold on 1 second. They went in the back. They said, do you realize what this clever Jew is doing to us, no? In front of 500 people in the church. If we say, whoa, why are you making up stories, you lying? All our believers, we say, we don't believe in JC. And we have to play the game here. So they came out and said, okay, son, we're very happy that JC took care of you. You see, such a generous God. He takes care of everyone, not only on Christians. And he went back and said, Rabbi, you see, the letter is dismissed. It's good to smile in these days a little bit. Now, so, someone who found a lost object on Shabbat, does he have an obligation to pick it up and on Sunday to go and announce, or no?
cannot be garbage.
Two conditions. One, that it won't be muktzeh. If it's an electronic device or money, cannot move it. But if it's something that it's not muktzeh, such as clothing, coat, scarf, jacket, things that is not muktzeh, you're allowed to move it on Shabbat. And that the place over there has eruv, that the area is surrounded with a fence or with a wire around this entire area, which you're allowed to carry your own stuff and you carry. Not everyone carry in the eruv. Some people are machmir. If you never carry in the eruv, even if right now you're allowed, you don't have an obligation. Why? For you, you don't carry. But if you carry anything else, now all of a sudden you became tzaddik. No, leave it. It's Shabbat now. Well, but your packets are full of stuff. But that's for my stomach. This is not for my stomach. When I'm going to pick it up on Shabbat now? The answer, yes. If you carry and it's not muktzeh, you must pick it up. And then Sunday you make all the announcement. Someone who found an object by the garbage cans on the floor, which is a hesitation if it was in the garbage or it rolled close to the garbage. There's a difference. If it was in the garbage and it fell, then the person who put it in the garbage gave up on it. Then you can take anything you want from the garbage. But if it's now next to the garbage, there's a dilemma. Maybe it was in a garbage and it fell by the squirrels. They knocked down everything. So maybe I'm allowed to take it. Maybe the kids play with that and it rolled all the way there, like a ball or something, or a toy. You don't know. So what do? You really want it, but you're not sure. So what do? The answer is, if there is a way to see that it was thrown into the garbage, you're allowed to take it. If there is a doubt, safek deoraita lechumra. Everything that has a doubt from the Torah, you have to go to the strict side. There are places that they go and throw coins, dimes, pennies, quarters. They believe it brings them good luck. Some places there's water, and they throw a lot of coins. One person asked if he's allowed to pick up all the money. The answer, what do you think?
No.
The answer is, it's a stupid custom to throw money. It's on the border of being idol worshipping, on the border. Therefore, when a person throws it, just because he's foolish, doesn't mean I cannot take the money. Anyway, he wasted the money. Throw the money. He gave up on the money. He believes this nonsense brings him good luck. Baruch Hashem, Hashem sent these dummies that I can go and pick up what they throw. But he brought a good point here. What about the Chilul Hashem? So there are two suggestions. One, come in the middle of the night with a flashlight. Second, put a baseball hat. That in case Vinny come from the corner, hey, what are you doing? Hey, listen, brother. How they say in America? Listen, bro, I'm very hungry. Yo, bro, I'm very hungry now. They won't know you're a Jew. You pick up some quarters and you go. Tomorrow you come take the rest. You get the concept here? Once a person gave up and throw it away, person is allowed to take it. We're not talking now a person brought something and put it as a gift in Bet HaMikdash. He's not throwing it away, he's giving a donation. But he gives it to his idol, also you're not allowed to take. There's a big idol and he puts it in front of the idol on a table. It's already called tikrovet avodah zara. You're not allowed to enjoy from this money. Or anything else that he put over there. He brought a delicious cream cake to Budke. Budke sitting with his angry face like this. So they do some ktoret and they bring him cream cake. He's not going to eat it. As soon as everyone goes around, you take this tiramisu cake, $50 in a store. Not allowed. Once he sacrifices it to his idol, or to a tree, or to an animal, it has to be dismissed. A stamp that came to you by the post office and they forgot to stamp it. Allowed to use it or not? They say the story about the Chafetz Chaim, that the Chafetz Chaim from time to time used to deliver letters to people in Radin with his own foot. He walked with his feet. And he delivered the letter, and every time he did it, he ripped a stamp. They asked him, what are you doing? He said, I don't want the post office to lose. Is that the law? Or it's the Chafetz Chaim that was in the level of an angel? That requires everyone? If we will do it, we would be considered very, very dumb. But when the Chafetz Chaim does it, it comes from holiness and very high level. If we will rip a stamp, somebody goes on a date. Moshe, what are you doing? I forgot, I delivered 2 letters today, so here's 2 stamps. He wants to impress his future wife. What are you doing? I delivered 2 letters on my own today. I don't want the post office to lose. Does it help the shidduch? Or right away the Shadchan will get a cancellation phone call. So then when he answered the Shadchanit, why? I learned it from the Chafetz Chaim. Since when a monkey learned from an angel how to behave? Monkeys are monkeys and angels are angels. A monkey don't learn to be an angel overnight, you know. Money in public phone. You came, you put a quarter, the Niagara Falls opened up. Some coins came out. You're allowed to take the money, or since it was in the box, it belongs to someone. The stamp is not allowed. The answer to the stamp, not allowed. Why? The post office forgot to stamp it, but it's considered used already. They gave service for it, and that's their payment. So now using it to avoid payment is not allowed. What about money that you found in a vending machine or a public phone or places like that? Are you allowed to return it? The answer, no. You take it. Why? It's called Yeush Be'alim. Yeush. What does it mean? The owners of this vending, they already take to consideration the day they put it that there will be X amount of money lost. They know the machine has defects. Sometimes it's vomit, some coins. Sometimes people bang on it when they get angry. They just found out their wife wants to get divorced. He hit the phone, $5,000 came out. The owner already took it to consideration. Therefore, it's called Yeush. They gave up already. What happens if there is a note on the phone? In case you find money, make sure to put it back in, because I never forgive you even in Olam Haba. What do we do in a case like that? You still keep it. He can bark as much as he wants. We don't go by what he says. We go by what the reality is.
Well, now, can you bang this on purpose?
No. Oh, that's already an attempt to steal. Why people always understand what they want to understand? From this whole speech, she learned that from next time she has to bang on a phone, that coins would fall off.
So that's not true. I just wanted to everyone who got the idea but didn't voice it to get the answer.
Ah, you know, you remind me of Eov. Why? The parasha is speaking, our last parasha, the parasha spoke about Sar Tzilam Me'aleim. Yoshua and Caleb, the Meraglim in Parashat Shlach, 10 Meraglim, the spies, were speaking bad against the Holy Land, and 2 are against them, arguing with them. Why are you saying it's a bad land? It's a good land. God promised to us. One of the things the spies say, that they have massive army over there, these Knaanim, they have a big army, they sit there for a long time. We're not going to be able to overcome them. So Yoshua and Caleb answer, no, you're wrong. Their protection, their shield just died. So the Gemara say, who did they mean by that? What shield the Knaanim had? The Gemara say, Eov. There was one righteous man, it wasn't a Knaani, Eov, but he lived there. He got a green card. So he moved, he won the lottery. So he moved over there to Canaan. It was very good for business. So he lived over there.
He lived in Eretz.
Yeah, but now he's in Eretz Israel in a time when the Jews come to Eretz Israel. Eov is there. Eov died. Until now, when Eov was there, you have a point. We couldn't fight them because they have a shield. Unbelievable. One righteous person, and wasn't even a Jew, a goy. Eov was a goy tzaddik. Protect the entire nation from us, that we have the promise of Hashem, that we go into our promised land. We have a promise from Hashem. We have a guarantee to get the Holy Land. Hashem is with us. It's a part of the plan. One goy tzaddik is like they say in America, pin in the neck. You cannot do the operation. But now Eov already went to heaven. So the shield over these wicked idol worshippers, finally the umbrella that was protecting them disappeared. The Gemara say, Eov is enough to protect the entire nation. The Gemara say Eov was more tzaddik than Avraham Avinu. When the Satan came, he said, I never found in the whole place somebody like Avraham Avinu. Hashem said, go to Eov, check him out. But don't kill him. You can do whatever you want to him, but don't kill him. Started to take away his money, make him sick, children die, all kinds of problems he has. The Gemara say right the next page, Eov bikesh להפוך את הקערה על פיה. Eov wanted to be kofar in Hashem 100%. Until now he was a righteous tzaddik. Tomorrow he wanted to become a lefty, liberal Jew, communist, God-hater. Like we have plenty, unfortunately, in our land. How a person wants to become from a tzaddik Rosh Yeshiva, a smolani, enjoy meretz. How? How is it possible overnight? And someone like that you compare to Avraham Avinu? Gemara, what is this? Not a newspaper. It's in the Gemara. The Gemara say there is a secret behind it. Not, God forbid, that he wanted to go against Hashem. He saw that he's suffering so much, and all the people around him begins to question the ways of God. Where is the righteousness of God? Such a righteous person among us suffer more than all of us together, and we do whatever we want. We don't suffer even 1% like him. You see, it doesn't pay to be religious. He was afraid of the outcome. What damage is going to make to the people in their relationship to the creator of the world. So he said, I'm going to give them a reason, to Hashem, a reason that when someone come and say, how come this righteous Eov got punished? They would say, what righteous? He was a kofar in Hashem. He went and fought against God in the end. He turned to be wicked. That's why God did it to him. Why did he do it? For the reputation of Hashem. This is like she just said now. She said, I only asked this about the phone because I know what the people may understand. So I sacrifice myself and ask the question to prevent other people from getting the wrong idea. Very good. Now, next thing. Check that you gave to someone, he never cashed it. You have an obligation to remind him or no? Maybe he doesn't want. Maybe he gave up. Maybe he wants to give you. Maybe he feels bad for you. You know you're a hard-working person and he's rich.
Maybe he lost it.
It's his problem. If I gave him $100 bill and he lost it, it's my problem? It's his problem. I paid what I owed him. He lost it. He lost it. I gave him a check. Check has a buying power. Can go to the grocery and buy with that in Israel. Check from a third party. So if he lost it, it's his problem. No? Like a voucher. What is a check? You get a voucher from the yeshiva, you come to the store, you buy, they give the yeshiva donation.
But you still have the money. So
the answer is, it's not stealing, but it's a different violation from the Torah. What is it? No. What is it? There's few sins here. One, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Second, לא תעמוד על דם רעך. Third, what is it? השבת אבדה. You have an obligation to return a lost object. You have a way to correct the problem. You cannot ignore your brother. What happens if it's a check you gave Ahmed? First question is, why do you give check to Ahmed? The answer is,
construction.
The answer is, Ahmad, you know, is not in a Hamas. A simple Arab farmer. You bought olives from him. You gave him money. The answer is, even if Ahmed was from the Hamas and you bought from him something, you still have to pay him. Even though you have an obligation to execute him with no mercy, but when you bought from him something, you still have to pay. Why you pay? Not for him, for yourself. Hashem hates thieves in general. So first of all, you have to look at yourself to be clean, regardless who the money goes to. You must pay. So you have an obligation. But if Ahmed did not cash the check or lost it, then it's the same rule that applies to any lost object. Do you have an obligation to chase Ahmed and correct his life? No, he's not your brother. Not Ahmed, not Vladimir, and none of it. Now, before we finish, because time is running out, we have 5 more minutes. I want to finish the chapter at least. So it says like this: 2 people holding the same object. A towel in a country club, someone left. Outside, by the garage, public area. As a, I don't know, it's a fancy towel. Each one claim it's mine. They arrive to court. They pull. They come like this to court. Now the judge says, what's going on here? It's mine, like 2 little kids. He pushed me. It was first in my hand and he grabbed it. The answer is, now they have a specific claim. One say, we walked in a garage together. We're friends. I told him, look, Itzik, what a beautiful towel. And I started to go towards it, and he ran behind me and grabbed it. But I saw it first. So it's mine. Without me, you wouldn't see it. And he said, very nice that you told me, but I'm the one who grabbed it. I'm the owner. So there's a Gemara in Baba Metzia, Shnayim Ochazin Betalit. Seeing an object doesn't make you the owner, even if the object is hefker. That you can own it by picking it up. As long as you never touched it, you did not pick it up, or pull it. If it's something heavy, at least to pull it. Or if it's an animal, you make the animal make 1 step forward. If it's a house, someone neglected and ran away. And you want to get the house now. How do you get the house? By changing the lock or putting fence. As long as you did not do any transaction that prove ownership, somebody else came and grabbed it, it's his. Once you did something that proved you the owner, you knocked down trees, you did something, you planted grass, you did something that proves that you're the owner. Otherwise, what, a guest plant grass? A guest put fence? In today, everything is possible. But in reality, no. So it says like this. Seeing it is not owning it. And now, if both of them saw it and picked it up in the same time, or at least that's what they claim, you have to split it between them 50-50. If only one of them holding it and the other one claims for it, you cannot take it out of the hand of the one who has possession on it. Why? You need proof to take it out of someone's hand, someone's possession. Without a proof, you cannot change ownership. Even if your feeling is that this person is right. Why? He has very good reputation, he's tzaddik, he prays every day, he gives tzedakah, and this is very sleazy person. But you don't have a solid proof. You cannot move from hand to hand. What about using the lost object until the owner will remember to give me a call? In the meantime, I want to use it. If it's a pen, you're allowed to use it? The more you use it, by the time you call, there will not be any ink. You have to put it in the garbage. Obviously, you're not allowed. But what happens if it's a hammer? Brand new hammer. You want to bang a nail. And you don't have a hammer of your own. You're allowed or not allowed? The answer is you need clear permission from the owner to use it. Unless if it's something that will be rotten, cake, fruits, every hour you wait, it becomes worse. So you have to evaluate it. 1 pound of peaches. How much it's today in the store? $3? You take $3, you put it in a box, you put a note. Lost object from this date, 1 pound of peaches, $3. Today it's worth 2, you put 2, according to the day you found it. and you eat them. One day the owner shows up. Oh, I saw that you put an ad. By the way, fruits you don't have to announce, because fruits, there's no sign. Are we talking now fruits with stickers on them? Stickers made in this, from this farm. And you don't know exactly who the owner of the farm, so you put over there by the farm some notes. I found this and this, and it doesn't call. Oh, it's going to be rotten in a day or two. What? Both of you would lose. So if you desire them, you eat them, and when one day he comes, if he comes, you pay him. What happens if it's a hammer? You don't make any damage to the hammer. Most likely, if he was here, as a gratitude for finding his hammer and returning it, he will allow you to bang one nail, right? If it's very obvious that he would agree, you're allowed to use. And then later you tell him, you know, I used it. If he's pedantic, then you tell him, no problem, senor. Here is $15. Go buy yourself a brand new hammer, because I banged a nail with that. You happy? No. I'm still not happy for the chutzpah you had to use it. There are people like that. What do? You pray to Hashem that will cure him from his mental disease.
What about if it's animal? It's kind of animal, like a goat or...
Animal, you have to take care of the animal if you are able to take care of the animal. If you cannot take care of the animal, if you live in Great Neck and you have a beautiful home with Picasso picture, you're going to put chicken in your house? It's going to start eating the picture. $5 million, no? So what do? You sell it, whatever the money you get. When one day the person buy, go buy yourself a chicken. The Gemara said that Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa was very poor. Was very, very poor. And the Gemara said one day somebody came to him and he said to him, do me a favor, I'm going to the market. I want to leave my rooster here. Chicken. So he has a little rope. He tied the chicken to the pole by Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, and he went to the market and never came back. Never came back. In the meantime, this chicken gave birth to eggs. When it became 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 50, all day in his house, quack, quack, quack. Rabbi Hanina is trying to learn Torah with the noise he can. What did he do? He bought all the chicken, and with the money he bought 2 goats, sheep, male and female. One day after years, that person happened to go again to the market, and he remembered that he left the chicken by this rabbi here. He came, Rabbi, remember me? When? 65 years ago I came here. Before I was bald and have some gray hair. And I left you a rooster here, a chicken. So Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa came and said, come take your chicken. And he showed him hundreds of sheep in the back. How this story came up in the Gemara? Because the Gemara said that people came to him and say, your sheep eating in foreign fields. They're stealing grass. You know, you're supposed to put a fence around them. So Rabbi Hanina told them, guaranteed they never ate from anyone's grass. So the Gemara say, but how did he have all the sheep? If he was so poor, that the Gemara said the whole world is eating thanks to this poor tzaddik that eat carobs all week. He doesn't have what to eat. And now you tell me that he have 100 sheep? So the Gemara said that it wasn't his sheep. He was watching the sheep, for that person. What do you do in the meantime from the wool and the milk? You have to cut the wool, so wool worth money. You sell it, they make coats from it. And the milk, well, you have to milk the animal because otherwise they die from pain. They have struggle. So whatever you have to do, even to the floor you have to do it, because it goes to waste. Obviously it's hefker. So you can use the milk and the wool to pay for the expenses on maintaining the sheep. If you see it doesn't cover the expenses, you sell everything, you keep the money. One day the owner comes, here is your money, I had to sell it, I couldn't be your babysitter, I'm sorry. Otherwise he had to pay you for all your time, won't worth it for him. So if the owner gives, if the owner say, oh, I saw the ad, I'm going to come next week to pick it up. And he said, by the way, do you give me permission to use this hammer in the meantime? Of course. No problem. He used it. He gave you permission. If he didn't get permission, like I said, only if it get rotten, then obviously it's for his own benefits that at least you eat it. And if it's called זה נהנה וזה אינו חסר, if one benefit and the other one does not lose anything from it, we force the owner of the object to let the other person enjoy. If he comes to Beit Din, they throw him out. They say, get out of here, stingy. What do you mean? He used my hammer without permission. Chatzuf. Thief. I put a sign all over town. What permission you had to use this the hammer to bang a nail into the wall? I'm going to make a war here. So the Beit Din said, Dr. Lifshitz, please come. Bring some people, put him in a barbanel, make sure he's normal, then you bring him out. Why? We don't care what he said. Why should we care? He didn't lose anything. If he built the Empire State Building with his hammer, no, what can we do? We have to rule that he has to buy him a new hammer. After all, it started to shake. Pedantic that the hammer is a little bit shaking. You risk your life. I put money in a vending machine and 2 cans of soda came out instead of 1. Do I have to take one and try to push one in by breaking the glass?
We said before.
Oh, I'm now obligated to put another $1 for the 2nd can of soda.
You got it anyway, now.
What's the difference between soda and quarters that came out? No different. You want it. Shniya hefker. They put in my mailbox mail that does not belong to me. Do I just keep it there until the mailman come and pick it up? Or now it's my obligation to look for one of the neighbors in the area and return it to him?
Look for the
Or I just return it to the non-Jewish mailman, hoping he's going to deliver it tomorrow. The answer, we have an obligation to give it to the owner only if it's not a heavy mission. If you don't know where he is, you need now to Google him and call and hire a private detective for advertisement from GE. They want to sell him a new fridge. I'm going to waste my time for this. But sometimes a letter can be life and death. It's no joke. You have to do it only if it's not over normal effort and you get a reward from returning a lost object. Otherwise, you leave it to the mailman, so you made a mistake, it doesn't belong here, and picks it up. What happened if you already grabbed it in your hand? You picked it up, and now you see a name of someone else. You put it down, or now since you picked it up, you're obligated to return it. That's what the Torah says. If you picked it up, you cannot put it back. Put it back here. I'm not in a mood to return it.
Sorry, what about if the kiosk or the place where they took it, the 2 cans, it's inside the store, it's different inside the store?
Yes. In a store, you divide the store to 2 different territories. You have the public territory inside the store and the private territory. From the counter all the way into where the staff work belongs to the owner of the business. From the counter to the door belongs to the customers. So if you walk into a shop owned by a Jew, usually the rule is everything that is lost in a property that belongs to a Jew, the property buys it for the owner. It's like it's in his hand. You see it in the grass on his property, you're not allowed to pick it up. Why? It belongs to him already. Once he touches his property absorbs it. You're not allowed to take it. You take it, you're a thief. It's like stealing it from his home. Even if he doesn't know he won it yet. He will only find out tomorrow. However, if it's a path that he assigned for the public to do a shortcut, and it fell on the path where people have permission to walk. You found it over there, even though he owns the property. Because he assigned it to become a public path, it's yours. Same thing in a store. You walk into a store, they have a counter. How are you? Can I help you? You look at the floor, you see a diamond ring. You pick it up. Wow, thank you very much. Hey, excuse me, it's mine. Come here. Run outside. If you don't run out, you call Tony and Vinny. You won't be able to talk. Run outside. if he knows you and that and this and that, you think what you want, life or diamond ring. But other than that, run outside, it's your money, you didn't steal it. I found a cellular phone, and I want to return it to the owner, but the best way is to just dial. The owner, I looked in the owner, I see his number. I can dial his number from this phone, or I can dial the last phone, the last call that was used, and the person will tell me who this phone belongs to, and I give him my number to call me. I'm doing him a favor. But who said that I have permission to make him lose one phone call? We're talking that it's not an unlimited plan. You know, some people will still pay by the call, right? So even if it's 20 cents, do I have permission to use it without permission, even if it's for the sake of the owner? Or I must get permission from him, and since he's not here, I'm not allowed to do it. The question is, if the owner would be here, what do you think he would say? If there was a way to say to him, Joey, telepathy, am I allowed to use your call to find you? Absolutely. Or you want to lose this $500 iPhone? What would he say? If he's pedantic, he would say, use someone else's phone. If he's normal, he would say, yeah, of course, use my phone.
So what happens if you lose the phone and it's blocked? But on the screensaver it says, if found, please mail to blah, 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 and that's across the country. Is the person obligated to spend the money for the shipment?
You have to make them pay for the shipping.
You have to make them pay for the shipping?
Yes,
so
you ask them for the credit card number and you send it to them.
So how to make them pay for the shipping? All you know is their address.
So you send a note. Come on. Use your head. You send the note and you send, please send this and that for the shipping, or give me an account number to ship it on if you don't trust me to steal the cash. Give me an account number for the shipping and I will ship you back your phone. When I was in Toronto, as soon as I arrived to the airport, I went directly to an afternoon lecture in a mall. In a mall, there's a shul. When I came out of that lecture, I found a BlackBerry phone, when BlackBerry had a value. That was a few years ago. Fancy BlackBerry. We look at the BlackBerry. There was a lot of young guys there with me. They checked. I didn't even know how to look at that. They checked. They found out it belongs to a girl. So they started to make phone calls to the last call used. And finally, they found who the girl is. So they gave her my number to call. So when she called, we told her where I'm staying. So she came with her father. So when they came out, they were so nervous. Like, they didn't believe that someone would just purely give it to them with no problem. So the father took his wallet out. How much? How much? Nothing. You sure? Ah, thank you. Ah, like they found the lottery. One phone. Yeah, maybe they have the atomic nuclear weapon secrets in it. I don't know. Well, what's the big deal? Technically, if you found that phone, I was able to keep it, according to the Torah. Why? Christine Johnson, I know she's not Jewish. The Torah says you're only obligated to return it to a Jew. Jew that shomer Shabbat, by the way. Mechalel Shabbat, en machzirim lo aveda, is 100% a goy in halacha. If you see that he has earring over here and a horse tail, you know, it doesn't mean he's mechalel Shabbat. I have few like this that shomer Shabbat already. But you check on his driver's license where he lives. And you come and you have a fat wallet full of cash. You come to the area, you say to the kids over there, tell me, you know this guy? Yeah. And Shabbat, he goes to shul or he goes to the beach? He goes to his boyfriend. Thank you. Cash inside, go buy your children something nice. Not stealing. Why? Mechalel Shabbat cut himself out of the Jewish nation.
What if he still keeps Shabbat?
If he keeps Shabbat, you must return it. No, obviously he goes to his boyfriend on Shabbat. Shem Tov, what part wasn't clear? 1 minute left. If the minutes would be the way I describe them, we'll live to 500 years old. I found a not modest book or film that belongs to someone has his telephone number there. Do I have to return it to him? Is it up to me to decide? Or not only I don't have to bring it to him, I'm not allowed to return it to him. Talking to a Jew.
Not allowed.
Because you're causing him to make a sinner old power of the other sinner.
Huh?
You're making him make another available. So
No, I tell you what you do.
you're saving him.
You go on your yacht on Sunday, you put it in the middle of the ocean, and you give him direction. He will use ways to find it. Ways, you know. I'll show him where it is. Ways also will tell him where the sharks are hiding. When I go to the supermarket, I go all the way to my car and I see one cart went out of the parking of the supermarket that's owned by a Jew, and he's already went to a different parking, Walmart parking lot. Do I have an obligation to go and get the cart and bring it back to his property, push it in, or since I already grabbed it, I must come and give it to the owner? What's the obligation? Oh, it's not my problem now. I have things to do.
You have work for that.
The answer is, if it's very easy, 1, 2, 3, you must do it. If it's a complicated thing, it fell into a hole and will take you hours, you are allowed to demand money for your time. You lost 3 hours of work. Obviously, the cart, I don't know, worth $50, and maybe you make $100 an hour. So now you're going to wait $300 to save a car that anyway never drives. Always gets stuck. You don't have this obligation. But if it's 1, 2, 3, it's only here, you take it and you push it there. You must, of course. Wouldn't you want someone to do it for you? Now, if there are goyim over there, and the store belongs to a goy, and the goyim see you with a yarmulke, put a nice show, and earn a very big mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. If the goyim pay attention, believe me, when they see someone with a yarmulke, they check him with a magnifying glass. They see you went all the way, you brought the card, and you push it to the place. Shh, look at these Jews. What nice, fine people. Even though you're not normally so fine, you just earned Kiddush Hashem. Very good. I'm in overseas. Yeah, I just answered that, if you return to a goy or not. Next one. Someone sent me an envelope, invitation to a wedding, and inside there's a return envelope to say if I'm going to the wedding or not. So I don't want to bother sending him back this envelope, but he has a stamp on it. So I use this envelope for my own use. The question is, once he sent it with inside self-addressed envelope with a stamp, he already gave up that stamp. Obviously, he's not expecting to get that money back. So he is Yehush. He gave up on the money. Therefore, once I get it, I do whatever I want with that. Or there is such a thing, conditional thing. He puts a condition. I don't really give it up. I only give it to you to return it to me. Does he run my life from now on? He decides for me if I have to go and mail him the return. What about if I want to send him a text that we're not coming or I'm coming? The answer is it was dedicated only for that purpose. However, if you call him, if it's somebody close, and you tell him, what's the question? Of course I'm going to come to your wedding. The third one. Not the first. Of course I'm going to come. What, you expected me not to come? Oh, thank you. By the way, so you don't expect me to send you back that envelope, right? No. Or consider it done. Then you can use it. Now he's not expecting it back. That means mechila. It's forgive it. You have to be clever in life. Not that it pays for 40, how much the stamp is? 40 cents? 40 what? 46? It gets older more than me already. It grows with the years faster than us. All right. Now,
You're going to give the guy a $150 gift, you know.
Doesn't matter. Every money that has a value, people think about it. We can barely pay the bills. We barely living. We're very poor family. Shh. We owe money to the bank, to private people, to all kinds of things. And the debt is only growing. Do you have an advice for us what to do? That's 90% of the questions I get. They think they call Santa Claus. I don't know. So the answer is yes, I have an advice. What is it? To make sure you spend less than what you earn. Enough with the big eyes. Poor people wants to live like Donald Trump. They got to get off the wagon and get off the tree and start living according to your ability. If Hashem gave you only $300 a week to live off, that's what He wants. He wants you to be poor and eat bread with peanut butter and once in a while cream cheese. He doesn't want you to eat fancy fish, no steaks, no sushi, no vacation, nothing. If you wanted it, it will give you enough money for it. The fact He doesn't give it to you, obviously He took it to consideration that you won't be able to go 5 times a year on vacation. He knew it, no? And it didn't bother Him so much. So what are you going to do? Start borrowing money? Most people put themselves in debt. Why? Desires. There are people who live according to their standards. By the way, desires is not only to negative things. Desire can be also to Torah books. Same thing applies. He has a habit. He's addicted to learn Torah. Every time he sees a new book come, he has to go buy it. But in the meantime, the debt on the credit card is growing. That's a criminal. Buying Sifrei Torah, a criminal? Of course. Someone would lose the money one day when he goes bankrupt. Mitzvah ba ba'avera. What is this? No one is allowed, has permission to live off someone else's money, unless if they gave it to you as a gift. Your in-laws, your parents, your brother, fine, no problem. I found cigarettes with a telephone number on it. Or I saw who left it there and left. Do I have to run after him to give him back the cigarette? Or since it kills, I'm not allowed to hand it to him? How many times it happened to you in your life? What did you do? Never bother you if you're making a sin or a mitzvah?
No, I wouldn't give it back.
Never happened.
Why should I? I'm helping the guy to kill himself.
Oh. There's only one problem. As soon as he got into a car and drove 2 blocks, he stopped by 7-Eleven to buy another pack.
That's his problem, not mine.
One way or the other, he'll kill himself.
Hey, I don't have to help him to kill himself.
So the answer is, it's really, really a hard question to answer. It's no joke here. It's really a hard question to answer. It's one of these gray areas, because there's 2 sides. One side is you say, how do I hand him poison that will take a minute from his life? It's enough. A minute from his life is already a problem. Second, you can argue if when he smokes 1 cigarette, if it makes any damage. 1,000,000 cigarettes together kill. 500,000 make cancer. 250,000 make coughing. But the one that I hand him, the 2 that was in a box, or 5, or whatever it was, the amount of damage that it makes is totally minor. 0.00000 until tomorrow %. So is it something that considered damage that I do with my hands, or no? What's the answer to this? According to him, you're allowed. You're allowed to return it. Why? Because it's a collective damage. It's not a particular thing. It's overall, it made a big damage. But if a person would smoke only 5 cigarettes in his whole life, would it make him a damage? Nothing. If it smoked 50,000 cigarettes, it will make him a damage. You understand? Just like everything else. Banging 1 nail into the wall, the hammer is still brand new. Banging 1,000, it's already a different story. So, of course, you won't use it for 1,000, because you know it's going to eventually make a damage. Or a pen, brand new pen, and you wrote one telephone number. Do you know a person will take you to court for the ink? Well, what happens if you finish all the ink? Depends on who you're dealing with. Some people would hire a lawyer. Pedantic. In our work, when we go to work, what's the purpose of work? Only purely to make money to survive, or to develop our personality as well? For instance, I'm a mathematician. So if I'll become an accountant, it will make me a happy person. I will deal with what I like, and I will use my talent to help people and to do chesed from the Torah. Save them money, save them taxes, save them problems, teach children math. Not only for the money, to do a lot of nice things. Is that considered also the purpose of the job? Or only the money, whatever happened? For instance, if you're a musician, you have an amazing voice, and you can make concerts and sell CDs, you make money out of it, but at the same time you make thousands of people very happy. Do you have an obligation to think that way? Or give me the money and leave me alone? What happened after, it's not my problem. Do you understand the question or no?
To make the people happy.
Work to make money, and at the same time keeping mitzvot while you're working is better than a work that it's only money. So if you have two jobs, more or less the same money, one with chesed, one without, then of course you take the one with the chesed. But what happened? The job without chesed makes you 20% more money, but there's no kindness in it. Just do the job and finish. And the other one, you make less money, but you're busy with doing mitzvot. Do you have an obligation to take the job that pay less because it's involved with nice things? Or money talks when it comes to work?
Not an obligation.
It depends. Less money.
I'm not asking if you have a choice to choose the job that pay less. Of course you have the choice. You can choose whether you want to work. You can work for free if you want. It's up to you. I'm talking, are you obligated to do it? That's the question.
Not obligated.
The answer is no. You need the money, that's why you go to work. The more money you have, the more things you can do for your family, for your obligations. Am I allowed to report a worker that is not...
That's even if one chesed makes a really large amount of money.
If chesed what?
Still makes a really large amount of money. Like, it makes $1 million, and the second one makes $1.5 million.
Oh, now I understand. Which means one way or the other you'll be rich. Well, of course, Hashem expects him to take the job with the chesed. The question is he obligated? No. He goes by the money. Now, of course, he's a fool. Somebody like that is not smart. He will end up with the money. He won't be punished for taking this job, but he would lose all the chesed. When he see what he lost, he may pull his hair off from frustration. Do I have an obligation to report a worker in my job that make damages to the owner? He's not hygienic. He's not washing his hands in a restaurant. You know, comes out of the bathroom right away slicing the pizza without washing his hands.
Yes.
He does not put the hat when we bake. A baker has to put a hat that hair doesn't fall in. He doesn't care. He uses his cell phone every 2-3 minutes to call his girlfriend. What's the obligation here? Oh, you're not allowed to tell about people. למינים ולמלשינים אל תהי תקווה.
You tell him first. You give him warning.
The answer is you take him to the side and you tell him, listen, I'm a religious person and the law of God obligates me to report what you're doing to the owner. But I don't want to do it. So I'm asking you to stop, otherwise I'll be forced. It's not what I want to do. Of course I hate to do it, but I'm in this position right now. And the same thing, I won't eat pork when I'm hungry. I hold myself. Over here I will have to go against my wish and report you. That's why it's fair that I'll give you this warning to stop. If you're still alive tomorrow and he's still doing it, Tell it to the boss. But if he's a dangerous person, you don't say. He's full of tattoos, bald, swastika on his neck, and he looks at you all day like this, ready to kill you. Imagine you come to him and say, hey, Hans, I want you to wash your hands when you come out of the bathroom.
Why is he higher than the Jewish place?
You'll be surprised. The liberal Jews would hire Hans than before they hire me and you.
What if,
Or Abdallah.
what if you're bigger than Hans? Can you tell Hans if you're stronger than
You like the name Hans, huh, Shem Tov? Hans was the son of Herzl, by the way. He was a Jew.
I mean, are you obligated to?
Before he converted.
Before he became Christian. But a Jew can never become Christian, so it's not.
He might have a big gun, though.
I work in a store in Tel Aviv, and a Sudani, the people from Sudan who smuggled into Israel illegally, come for me to serve him. Do I have to serve him, or I kick him out of the store and tell him, you violated the rules of Israel by smuggling into the country? You're not going to get any service from us. You're criminal, and we do not cooperate with criminals. You never thought about this one. What do you think? That's, by the way, applies to the same American Jews, citizens of the country. They have an obligation to do everything for the sake of their country, no? So if they see Mustafa smuggled from Canada, the Indians smuggled him from the lake, and now he comes to buy something in a store, they have an obligation to call the immigration?
No.
Maybe only came to find a job. The immigration would run after the person that reported. I work for the Israeli Department of Health. And I go to restaurant to give a report what they do, and they give them penalty. Report, tickets. I found a serious problem in a restaurant. Hygienic problem. But if I'm going to report it, for sure the employee would lose his job, and he has a family and children to feed. Do I have an obligation to report him as my job requires, or the Torah comes before my job, which I have to come and warn him that on the next time I will report him, just like when working in the same job together.
Give him a warning, like the bad
Warning, something.
Over here, you must report him. What's the difference? What's the difference?
This is your job.
This is your job. You were hired for that purpose. Not doing it, you become a thief. His life and your life comes first, the Torah says. But now both of you work for the owner. It's not your life. You were not hired to be a teller on someone else. If it comes, it's your obligation. That's why you give him a warning. See, everything is precise in the Torah, precise. If you are a Talmid Chacham, there are millions and millions and millions of questions, literally millions. Think about it, there are few Jews in the world that know the answer right away on the top of their head to all these millions of questions. With no hesitation, everything is crystal clear. Now you understand the power of a Talmid Chacham or no? Yeah, 1 second. Her hands is getting tired. I feel it. No?
What about my Mexican Ozera? She told me she's illegal here. But she's good. She's, I have her for 5 years already. So what should I do?
Somebody has to
Very hard question.
Somebody has to one of the parents of these 3 boys that were kidnapped went to Chaim Kalnievsky and asked him, what should we do? Straight away. He said the women should light the candles at least 10 for 15 minutes before Shabbos, and the men should learn the halachas of Shvi, and then there'll be no problem. Now, what you were saying just now, there are very few people in the world who, off the top, could give you an answer straight out like that. There's an example.
Amazing, amazing. And sometimes you wonder, what's the connection?
Yeah.
And it gets so deep. If you would have the time to start explaining to you. Like there's a guy who keeps bothering me almost every day, sends me an email to explain to him why I say that it's not an obligation to make aliyah to Eretz Israel. It drives him crazy, because he's an American guy who lives in Israel, and it bothers him. Why? Based on my lecture, some Jews will understand that it's better for them to stay here than to make aliyah. So the answer is, first of all, it's not a general rule. We never say everyone must do aliyah or no one is allowed to do aliyah. It's an individual question per person. It could be two brothers, different answers. It can be one kid of the family, yes, the rest no. It depends on the situation of a person. I say that to the best of my knowledge at least 100 times in the lectures in the past. You know, people hear what they want to hear. I already explained it. Yesterday I told him, listen, I don't have the patience to start explaining to you everything I say. But in general, I already said it at least 100 times. What did I say? I said, if a person get closer to Hashem in exile than in Eretz Israel, if he would live in Israel, he would be 60% close to Hashem. And here in Brooklyn or in Monsey, he feels very attached to Hashem, thanks to his yeshiva, thanks to his Rabbi, thanks to the clean environment, that he feels in the goyim, so he has no connection to Averot, he's isolated from them, he's his own chassidut, or whatever the case is. And he will jeopardize it by moving to the unknown. He's not allowed to make a change. Why? The rule is very clear. Bari veshema bari adif. Certain against maybe, you go by the certain. But if you're here not close to Hashem, your kids are going lower and lower, you don't have shlom bayit, you don't have parnasa, you don't have a good rabbi, you don't have a shul, you don't have community, and basically nothing here is good. So why are you staying here? Because your car is a little bit more comfortable than the bus you're going to take in Israel? Of course, you have to make aliyah. If life is garbage here, let it be garbage over there. At least you're in a holy land. But if life is paradise here, I'm not talking fancy schmancy, fancy things. That's not what I'm talking about. Even though for the women it's very important. A woman that you take away her kitchen, some of them would think to shoot their head. If you move her from a kitchen size of this big shul to a little tiny 2x2, some women will be very, very depressed. Very, very depressed. I'm telling you from experience what happened. Reality-wise, some people who made aliyah to Israel, it was a very wise move for them to do. They found good community or good yeshiva, or they elevated themselves spiritually. The kids became more orthodox. Some people like that. Unfortunately, there are many people who the move to Israel destroyed their entire family. And some of them ended up coming back here, but it will never be the same. Therefore, someone like me as a public figure has to give advice based on what I see. If I see 100 people went and at least 50 suffered tremendously and their life became horror, they never got adjusted to the Israeli mentality, or to, just today someone sent me a letter that her husband is in Israel 3 years and her husband still did not find a job 3 years. 3 years. And not to talk about the other struggle. Or many people were unable to put their kids in yeshivot. It's not like here. Over there it's very difficult. In that yeshivot do not accept everyone there. Your last name has a lot to do with that. Some places they take this kind of names and that kind of name. Some places the way you dress. It's very difficult. So if you have 6, 7 children and you want to find them in an area of one neighborhood, yeshivot to all of them, it's almost an impossible mission. And therefore, if you're going to kill 1 or 2 of the kids spiritually because you benefit the other 5, there's no permission. En dochim nefesh mipnei nefesh. If all 7 are in good yeshivot here, and now you're going to find only 5 good yeshivot and 2 would be neglected, and you hope for the miracle to happen, you don't have permission to make aliyah. You understand? With all due respect to the holiness of Eretz Israel and to all the great things the Torah spoke about it, the Torah say clearly the most important thing in the life of a person is keeping the Torah and the mitzvot and be attached to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. By moving to Israel, you jeopardize it. Not that it's not recommended, it's not allowed to move. When Mashiach comes, then it will be a different story. No more Yetzer Hara, no more racism, everyone will have yeshiva, don't you worry about it. But until now, you jeopardize your just the fact that it can jeopardize your marriage, that's already enough reason not to go. Person can be a warrior, Israeli mentality. He was in a commando, he slept in a forest, he fought against many Ahmeds in Lebanon. You put him in a garbage budke, he's going to live there and he's happy. But his wife is a Jap, Jewish American princess. She came from a $5 million mansion. Her father, Jose, every time he put his cigar, he comes like this with the fire, fine whiskey. The chauffeur takes her with the Rolls Royce. Now she found Itzik, the Baal Tshuva, the Israeli, the fighter. He wants to take her to Bnei Brak with 6 of their children, and they live in a tiny place, and expect her to be closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What are the odds? I speak reality. I mean, not that I enjoy to say it. It's reality. What are the odds? Person has to know who he's dealing with. She can be perfectly righteous. She needs some convenience. She needs some material. You take all the material away from this princess, it's death sentence. The last thing on her mind is to have patience for Hashem and for religion. No kitchen, no cooktop, no Viking, no side-by-side $10,000 refrigerator, no Italian imported marble anymore. The 5 amigas that used to come from morning to night goes around her. All of a sudden, she doesn't have even one the entire year. Big rats walking in the neighborhood, piles of garbage. Why? There's a strike. They don't take the garbage 3 weeks. Do you know what happened on the street? Snakes and rats are having a battle. Who's going to make it to the garbage? There are things in life. By the way, it's the same thing if you move to Mexico or you move to other places. If you won't be able to afford at least some of what you had here, this is definitely something to think about. If you dream that you're Rabbi Akiva and Rachel, think again. It may not be successful to you like them. We'll see you next Tuesday. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen v'Amen.